came back to Victoria, and I'm assuming that's because of your wife.
Yeah. Sydney didn't have much going for me. Parents moved down the South Coast, so I had no one in Sydney, brothers and family. But yeah, down here with the wife, and I love Victoria. So.
Yeah, fantastic. Now, so I think, again, my research showed me that you were a youth worker as one of your sort of first. Are you a PT? Are you still a PT at the moment?
Yeah, I still do a little bit of PT. I started a gym. I've opened a couple of gyms down here and moved them on and stuff like that. And one particular time a group come in, and next minute I'm a youth worker. I did that for 12 months working with young disadvantaged teenagers. And what a fantastic job and humbling background and meeting these kids in their background. It was tough for them, and to give them opportunity. And it was a great year or so that I did that, and that was a big part of my job. And I don't mind changing jobs all the time. So, for these people who want one job for 20 years, I think you should have 20 jobs and last 1 year in each job. So I just move on and loved it and keep moving on and experiencing stuff. And you're probably going to get into the prison service after that. That's where I went.
Yeah. That was my next question. Yeah, you started working as a prison corrections officer, I think is the official term. Yeah, so tell us a bit about that and I guess what that experience was like.
Yeah, moving into the accident I had at the end, So I went in, I started as a prison officer, loved the job. I had a good rapport with the prisoners. You're talking the worst of the worst and the biggest and baddest prisons in Victoria. And I just give them, I was like rugby league, black and white, just respect me, I respect you. That's all you need. After 3 months, I was lucky enough, I moved into the riot squad where you're dealing with, I've seen half the stuff I can't mention. I'm looking at writing a book at the moment on it. I've seen some stuff that, you can't print on TV and you shouldn't talk about, like people on fire and they've been passed away through accidents and stuff that goes on in prison. And, I dealt with a lot of, the pedophiles and the rapists and Adrian Bailey and, all these people, Tony Mockbell and all those people that, the worst of the worst in Victorian prisons. And I used to deal with them on a daily basis. So I've seen and done a lot there, and I was respected in my job. And then I drink driving. I got caught drink driving, so I lost my license for a couple of years. Thank God, while I did drink driving, I didn't hurt anybody. I just got it randomly stopped on the side of the road, and that was a positive change in my life, because previously I was a drink driver. I just, no excuses. I'm ashamed about it back then, and now the fact I got caught, lost my license for a couple of years and moved on, and I haven't done it since, and I'll never do it again. But I lost my job in the prison service in the riot squad for that, and that was my passion, dealing with those. I moved into the women's prison for a couple of years in the mental health unit and the gym, and that wasn't my calling. Then I moved to become a community corrections officer, and that's where I had a bit of an accident down there. If we're going to ask about that one. So.
You can elaborate on that if you'd like.
That one there, once again, I won't go too long a story, but I was supervising eight criminals out on a release, mowing some grass on Footscray Oval, and a truck drove past and exploded, and there was debris 50 metres in the air and 200 metres down the road. And the criminals I had with were mowing the grass at the time, and I wasn't near them, and I thought they'd put the petrol together from the lawnmowers and created a bomb and blown something up. So I thought it was a terrorist attack. And a big truck door landed near me, and all the windows within 50 metres around me exploded. The repercussions from the explosion blew all these windows out, like a bomb would go off in a war. And I dived on the ground and stood up, and I was half deaf, and then the criminals come towards me, and I'm starting punching on with them, thinking they were doing that. There was 8 of them, and I would have eaten them all alive. That's how angry I was.
Yeah.
And then it was evident, as I looked around, the truck driver had died. He had his head blown off. And another car was being smashed into, and the driver got out and collapsed, and the sound of the ringing car, the horn gets stuck on, still stuck in my head today. And I evacuated the prisoners out of there. And what had happened, it's on the news, it's on the media, a removalist truck was driving past Footscray Oval, and the gas bottles in the back were turned on, and he lit up a cigarette, and it blew his head off and just changed. So that gave me the PTSD today, which is hyper vigilant, and the nightmares and the loud noises and stuff like that. I'm fine now, and I typically say I haven't got PTSD, but then you talk to doctors and they want you to still have it. Oh, you've still got it. You've got PTSD for life. But the way I've been thinking, more recent times, is I haven't got it anymore. I had it. I don't need to be labelled with something. You can have a sickness or an illness at a point, but you don't have to have it forever. So, I left that job, and and never went back. But I would have loved to gone back as a riot squad officer, but that was about it. But yeah, I'm fine with that now, and I'd like to talk to people and help people with PTSD and stuff.
Yeah.
I'm just going to jump in there. Sorry, Michael, Benny. I think it's beautiful you shared that with us, Ben. That's fantastic, mate.
Thank you.
And thank you for sharing that. It's obviously something that's got had an enormous impact on your life, and I can only imagine what kind of horror that would have been. And just for anyone who's listening or watching, if you are experiencing any issues with your mental health, there is support out there. Contact Lifeline 13 11 14. There's always support and help available for you there. You've heard Ben share that story.
Well said.
He's had those experiences, and he's obviously found the help and support and would like to pass that on to others.
Yeah, I saw psychologist, psychiatrist, had some medication for the time to clear me mind and help me get through that time. Great family support, friends and family, and talking about it worked for me. I'll never forget what happened. As soon as I hear a loud noise or someone walk up behind me, I'll still turn around, or I'll get goosebumps on my arms. I'm still affected by it, but I might have a couple of symptoms, but I don't think it's that bad. So thank you. Well said.
Yeah, no, very well said, Dubs. And so moving on to something I guess a bit more positive. You, as your t-shirts there, Camp for Cancer. So it's a charity that you started. You raise a lot of funds for cancer research, if I am correct. I think Peter Mack's one of the main, I guess, the recipients of the money you raise.
Yes.
Tell us a bit about that. How did that start? What events do you do? How do you raise the funds? So yeah.
Okay, so my parents had both passed away from cancer, probably 10 or so years ago. And then I went to an event down at the showgrounds on Anzac Day where you camped in swags to raise money for the RSL. And it was the most poorly run event I'd ever seen in my life. So I was driving home the next day and said, I'll run an event in this park near my house and raise money for charity. And that came about, and I rang a couple of trusted friends of mine. And the first year, 2015, all we did was have people camping in a private property, a couple of bands playing. We raised $8,500. Second year, 2016, we moved up to $18,500, and then fast forward last year and the year before, $60,000. And all we do is camp and listen to live music, have some raffles, auctions, and we raise a lot of money. And I've been lucky. People from around Australia are ringing me to have events like this down in Geelong, up in Mathaura, Queensland, and all over the area. People are ringing me, how are we going to do this again? And Camp for Cancer is becoming a pretty big name. And for those people interested, it's quite simple. Go to the campforcancer.org.au, Camp for Cancer with a 4.org.au, and keep up to date with us. And the timing of our event, our chat tonight is perfect, as this weekend, this Saturday, we've got our Camp for Cancer live event on this year. As this shirt says, it's live, so we can't come together and congregate. But we've got 8 beautiful artists coming together, including Dave Gleeson from the Screaming Jets and the Angels.
Outstanding.
And he's headlining for us a live event we're putting together this weekend, and we're going to rock and roll and still raise a little bit of money, but also raising awareness. I've been lucky enough to tour the Peter MacCallum Cancer Centre, where the foundation is, and visit patients, visit scientists, and the scientists, they've got something like you guys and myself in common. You're passionate about this at the moment. You've got the passions for life. And these scientists who actually work at the Peter MacCallum Cancer Centre, their passion is finding cures. They celebrate finding a little breakthrough, like you see Lazo in the background now there, Dubs, right behind you. Yeah. This is how the scientists celebrate when they find a small breakthrough in their labs, and I've been in there and I've witnessed it. I've become friends with them, and to play a small part in cancer research around Australia is phenomenal. I don't particularly do much at the weekend on the event other than talk to all the campers and hear their stories, because every person's got a story about cancer. And people have said to me recently, Ben, we wish people like you were around 20 years ago, because I could reach out now, and I've got 5 friends who are in hospital with cancer, and I lost a dear friend 2 days ago to cancer, and it touches everybody. So my passion is to help raise money for cancer research and help out. And in saying that, I do have a young son who's got a little bit of autism and ADHD. He's 7. So last year I stopped work, full-time stopped work, and I'm his carer. So I'm home all day, every day, other than a little bit of personal training. And he's got his own clothing label out. He drew this
Oh,
his
nice.
name's Kai.
Yeah.
And he's got a lizard on there. So he drew it and I sent away to the printers, and he's got his own merchandise label as a 7-year-old kid. And
Awesome.
so I've sort of moved into starting to train. I train him and I train 2 other kids with autism, with fitness and, balance and skills with their body, the coordination, because some of the kids with the autism or cerebral palsy, they lose a little bit of balance and haven't got that much. So along with the cancer research, I help the autistic kids, and just recently started a program last week with some homeless kids and stuff like that with a charity called One Voice, who they do the showers, the homeless people showers in the CBD.
Yep.
So my life just all revolves around helping charities and helping people at the moment. And I'm lucky enough to come from a great parent background and be surrounded by great people all the way through. I've had my ups and downs, and rushing with the law and being a rock star now and again, and being a bit of a dickhead over the years. But you can always come back to your morals that your family and friends teach you, and surround yourself with great people. And you've got no other option in life to help out, and that's what we do. So that's been great chatting.
Ben, I just want to say, mate, that's